My name is Annabelle Whitman. I'm 31 years old, and 3 days ago, I found out my boyfriend was keeping score. Not metaphorically, not in some petty emotional way. I mean an actual list, 23 names, dates, comments, a neat little header at the top that said body count, last 2 years. Mine was number 22. If you're already thinking, why didn't you see it sooner? Trust me, I've been asking myself the same thing on repeat, like a broken record stuck on the dumbest track of my life. I've been with Gabriel Thompson, 26, for about 8 months. We met at a mutual friend's birthday barbecue. He was the charismatic guy working the grill, passing out burgers like he was hosting a cooking show, calling everyone bro and queen in the same breath. He was funny, charming, that easy extrovert who makes you feel like you've known him for years. Maybe a little too flirty with other women, but I wrote it off as he's just social. That was red flag number one. I folded it neatly and tucked it into a drawer in my brain labeled, not worth fighting about. Last Sunday started like most Sundays for us, lazy and comfortable, the kind of day that almost tricks you into believing your life is solid. Gabe came over to my apartment around 10. We ordered Thai, argued over what to watch, settled on the kind of Netflix series you half watch while scrolling your phone. He sprawled across my couch like he owned it, socks half off, hair messy, talking about how tired he was from leg day at the gym. It was ordinary, safe. I remember thinking, this is nice. Around 3 in the afternoon, his phone buzzed and he sat up, frowning at the caller ID. "Babe, it's my brother," he said. "He needs help moving some furniture. Emergency situation, apparently. His back's messed up." Gabe rolled his eyes like this was such an inconvenience, but there was a little spark in his expression, something nervous and excited that I didn't recognize at the time. "I'll be back later tonight, okay?" he said, leaning down to kiss my forehead. "Love you." "Love you," I answered automatically. He grabbed his keys and wallet, shoved his feet into his shoes, and rushed out. The door clicked shut behind him, and the apartment fell into that weird, too quiet silence you only notice after someone loud leaves. I curled deeper into the corner of the couch, picked up the TV remote, and that's when I saw it. Gabe's phone, lying face up on the coffee table, screen cracked, like always. Little spiderweb in the top right corner. He kept saying he'd fix when money wasn't so tight. I almost called out to him before I remembered he was already gone. "You forgot your brain," I muttered to myself. "And your phone." "I didn't touch it. I'm not that girlfriend. The one who snoops through your messages and then acts surprised when she finds what she was hunting for. Or at least I wasn't. Yet. An hour later, the phone lit up. Then again. And again. Buzz, buzz, buzz. I tried to ignore it. Really, I did. But the screen kept lighting up in my peripheral vision, and the previews were big enough for me to read from where I was sitting. "Dude, you are wild. Can't believe you actually did it. Your girl has no idea." The messages were coming from a group chat called Boys Night Secrets. 3 members, Gabe, someone named Mark, and a third contact with a picture of a beer bottle and the team, Jason. My stomach dropped, then tried to climb into my throat. I told myself it could be anything. Guys talk trash all the time. It might be nothing. The phone buzzed again. "Mark, still can't believe you pulled that off while your girlfriend was literally sleeping in the next room." That was the moment something inside me quietly shifted. I reached over and picked up the phone. His lock screen was still open. He hadn't set it to require a passcode after a few minutes. It was just sitting there, wide open, like fate had decided to toss me a hand grenade with the pin half pulled. I stared at it, thumb hovering above the screen. On one shoulder, the rational voice. "Annabelle, this is a violation of privacy. Put it down." On the other shoulder, a colder voice I didn't recognize. "He's already talking about you, without you. What privacy is he respecting?" I tapped the message preview. The chat opened, and my entire life split cleanly into before and after. At the top of the conversation, pinned, was a photo, a blurry screenshot of a notes app with a title. Body count, last 2 years. Underneath, a numbered list of names. Some first names, some full names, a few with only nicknames. Lisa, barista, March 13th. Amanda, coworker, March 27th. Hate. My eyes scanned down the column, barely processing, my heartbeat hammering in my ears. 22. Annabelle. 8 months ago. Finally cuffed. My name, neatly included like I was just another entry in a spreadsheet. I actually laughed. A short, disbelieving sound that sounded more like a choke. This had to be a joke. Some horrible, tasteless joke. Guys trying to one-up each other. Maybe they were exaggerating or making up names for clout. I wanted to believe that so badly it hurt. Then I scrolled down to the messages beneath it. Gabe. Just added lucky number 23 last night while my girlfriend slept. Julia from the gym finally came through. Took her long enough, lol. Jason. No way you actually snuck out while she was there. Mark. Bro, while she was literally in the next room, you're insane. Gabe. Annabelle sleeps like the dead. I told her I needed the bathroom. Julia was waiting in her car outside. Quick trip to her place, back in 45. Easiest W of the year. My hands went completely numb. For a second, I thought I'd drop the phone. Last night, I replayed it in my head. The way he'd shifted beside me around midnight, murmured something about his stomach being weird and needing the bathroom. I'd been half asleep, warm and comfortable, the soft weight of him behind me. I'd barely registered the sound of the front door. He'd been gone maybe an hour. I remember glancing at the clock once, frowning, then deciding he was just taking his time. He wasn't in the bathroom. He was in someone else's bed. I scrolled further. The chat wasn't just bragging. It was documentation, strategy. Screenshots of his dating app matches from the months before we met. Photos of half-dressed women whose faces I didn't know but suddenly hated. Little commentary lines like, Number 14, crazy in bed, not worth repeating. Number 19, clingy, blocked. Number 21, married. And then there was me. Interspersed with the filth were messages about Annabelle, as if I were some useful prop. Gabe. My girl's too trusting. ATM Belle. Pays for Uber half the time. Splits rent when she stays at mine. Easy. Jason. You're living on beginner mode, man. Mark. How long you keeping her? Gabe. IDK until I get bored. Her place is nice for sleepovers. Her family loves me. Her mom keeps hinting about grandkids. My vision blurred. For a moment, everything went silent, like someone had dunked my head underwater. The words stayed crystal clear on the screen while the rest of the world smudged. ATM Bell. Until I get bored. I kept scrolling. There were timestamps and comments lining up with nights I remembered. Anniversary dinners, movie nights, weekends he'd had to work late. Like this one from a month ago. Gabe. Annabelle wants to do this cute 6-month anniversary dinner thing. Free steak, though. After that, I'm probably hitting up that bartender from Friday while she's food coma sleeping. Mark, you're evil. I respect it. Jason. Life's too short to be tied down to just one girl, especially one who thinks holding hands is wild. They had jokes. Whole inside jokes built around how clueless I was. I don't know how long I sat there reading, watching my own relationship disintegrate in a scrolling wall of text. My first instinct was to call him, to scream, to ask why until my voice cracked. But under the humiliation, under the shaking rage, something colder settled in my chest. They thought I was clueless, safe, harmless. They were going to find out just how wrong they were. I backed out of the chat long enough to open the screenshot function. Then I went back in and methodically captured everything. The body count list. The messages where he laughed about cheating while I slept. The ones where he described me as boring but convenient. The group's running commentary on how easy I was to manipulate. Every screenshot I took, I immediately forwarded to my own email from my phone. Backups on backups. I wasn't going to lose this. When I finally put his phone down, my hands were trembling so hard that the glass of water on the table rattled when I picked it up. I stared at the blank TV screen, my reflection faint and stretched. I didn't recognize the expression on my own face. Okay, I whispered to the empty room. All right, fine. Gabe didn't just cheat. He documented it, cataloged it, turned people into numbers like some twisted collector. And collectors? They're usually obsessed with audience. I knew exactly who his audience was. Gabe comes from one of those super traditional conservative families. His dad, Robert, is ex-military, all about honor and respect and being a man of your word. His mom, Janet, is the perfect church-going hostess. They still bow their heads to say grace before every meal. Their house looks like a brochure for stable middle-class family values. Every Sunday, without fail, they host a big family lunch. Parents, grandparents, a couple of uncles and their wives, Gabe's 16-year-old sister Emma, even their family priest, Father Martinez. Gabe brings me almost every week. My parents adore you, he always says, kissing my cheek. They keep telling me not to mess this up. I thought that meant something. Now I realized it meant I had a stage, an audience, a room full of people who thought Gabe was a decent man and me was the safe, good influence. If I confronted him alone, he'd cry, manipulate, twist the story. He'd tell his friends I was crazy and controlling. He'd go back to the group chat and spin a new narrative. But if his father saw that list, if his mother read those messages, if his priest heard them, that was a different story. Around 6 that evening, the front door unlocked and Gabe rushed back in, eyes wide and panicked. "Babe, have you seen my phone?" he blurted before he'd even shut the door. "I think I left it here and I've been freaking out." I was sitting on the couch, legs tucked under me, a blanket across my lap. The phone was right where I'd left it, on the coffee table, screen dark. I glanced at it like I'd barely noticed it. "Yeah," I said, keeping my voice steady. "You left it when you rushed out. It's been buzzing nonstop." He crossed the room in 3 strides, grabbing it like it was a lifeline. His thumb flew across the screen, checking notifications. I watched his face pale as he realized how long it had been unlocked. His jaw clenched for half a second. "You okay?" I asked mildly. "Something important?" He swallowed, hesitated. I saw the calculation flicker behind his eyes. No, just work stuff," he said. "Didn't want to miss anything." Work? Right. Because his job definitely required comments about body counts and ATM bell. "Got it," I said, lips curling up in what I hoped passed for a simple, reassuring smile. "You're good now." He studied me for a beat too long, like he was trying to read my mind. I kept my eyes soft, my shoulders relaxed. "Yeah," he said finally. "Yeah, I'm good." The rest of the night, he acted jumpy, laughing too loud, checking his phone like it might spontaneously shout out his sins. He tried to initiate something in bed, his hands warm on my waist. "Sorry," I said, turning away, faking a yawn. "I'm exhausted. Can we just sleep?" He huffed, but then he relaxed. "Sure, babe. Tomorrow's a big day anyway." "Sunday lunch," I murmured into my pillow. "Yeah," he said. "My dad's already asking if you're bringing that craft beer he liked. He loves you, you know." I stared into the dark, eyes wide open, listening to his breathing even out as he drifted off behind me. "He won't," I whispered, so quietly even I could barely hear it, "after tomorrow." By Wednesday, I had a plan. I created a fake email account, something generic and forgettable. From there, I sent myself all the screenshots again, just in case I ever needed them to look like they came from an anonymous source. I rehearsed what I'd say, how I'd sit, where I'd hold my phone so everyone could see. On Friday, over dessert at some overpriced restaurant, Gabe smiled at me with that easy confidence that used to make me melt. "You know I love you, right?" he said. I held his gaze, feeling nothing but a strange, steady calm. "I know," I answered. "I love you too." It's disturbingly easy to lie when you've been taught by an expert. Sunday morning, we drove to his parents' house together, the Thompson family colonial rising up at the end of a perfect cul-de-sac, flag fluttering, lawn immaculate. The air smelled like grilling meat and fresh-cut grass. Gabe reached over and squeezed my hand on the steering wheel. "Ready?" he asked. I looked at the neat white porch at the front door where his mother would appear with a hug and a warm, "Annabelle, sweetheart." In my bag, my phone was fully charged. The email with the screenshots sat open in my inbox, one tap away. "Oh," I said softly, giving him a small smile. "I'm ready." He had no idea what that meant. Janet Thompson opened the front door before we even made it up the steps, like she'd been watching from the front window. "Annabelle's sweetheart," she sang, pulling me into one of those hugs that smell like perfume and roasted garlic. Come in, come in. Oh, you brought the IPA Robert loves. You're an angel." "Wouldn't want to disappoint," I said, lifting the 6-pack. My smile felt almost natural. Almost. Behind me, Gabe swaggered up the steps, slipping easily into golden boy mode. "Hey, Mom," he said, kissing her cheek. "Smells amazing in here." "Of course it does," she replied, swatting his arm. "I've been cooking since 7. Go say hi to your father before he burns the ribs again." We stepped into the house. The familiar wave of warmth hit me, literally and figuratively. Pictures lined the walls. Gabe as a kid in a soccer uniform. Gabe in a cap and gown. Gabe at family vacations. Gabe, Gabe, Gabe. In a few of them, I was there too, tucked under his arm, smiling at the camera like I believed in us. I'd loved this house once, loved how it felt like stepping into a TV commercial for Happy Family. Now it felt like walking onto a stage. From the kitchen, Robert's voice boomed. "That my favorite daughter-in-law to be?" I winced internally at the phrase. To be. "In here, Robert," I called. He turned from the grill pan when I walked in, grilling tongs in hand, plaid apron tied over his button-down. "There she is," he said, grinning. "You brought the good stuff?" I handed him the 6-pack. Your favorite IPA, as requested. He clapped a heavy hand on my shoulder. You always remember, unlike my son. Gabe rolled his eyes. Good to see you too, Dad. The rest of the family milled around. Grandma Thompson sat at the table by the window, folding napkins into little fans. Uncle Mike and his wife were already pouring drinks. 16-year-old Emma perched on a stool, scrolling her phone, earbuds dangling around her neck. Emma looked up when she saw me, her face lit. Annabelle, I bought that dress you recommended. It looks so cute. Can't wait to see it, I said genuinely. I liked Emma. I liked all of them. That was part of what made this hurt so much. Father Martinez should be here soon, Janet said, sliding a casserole into the oven. We're doing a little blessing before lunch. Perfect, I murmured. The more witnesses, the better. No one heard that last part. At least no one reacted. We gathered around the long wooden dining table half an hour later. It was covered in dishes. Ribs, roasted potatoes, green beans with slivered almonds. A salad with exactly 3 people interested in touching it. We all joined hands as Father Martinez bowed his head and began, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this food, for family, for the gift of love and commitment. My fingers tightened slightly around Gabe's and Janet's. Commitment. I stared at the wood grain of the table so I wouldn't laugh. Amen, everyone said in unison. Conversation bloomed. Robert started retelling a story about his golf game, complete with sound effects. Grandma complained about her neighbor's barking dog. Emma tried to show me a meme on her phone. Gabe kept reaching over to touch my shoulder, my knee, my hand, grounding me to the role I was supposed to be playing. Devoted girlfriend. Under the table, my heart tapped a rapid rhythm against my ribs. In my bag, my phone was a weight I couldn't stop thinking about. Not yet, I told myself as I reached for the mashed potatoes. Let him get comfortable. Let the room feel safe first. So, Annabelle, Janet said after a few minutes, smiling down the table. How's work? Still working those crazy hours? Less crazy this week, I said. I've actually been sleeping. Gabe snorted lightly. She sleeps through anything, he joked. Fire alarm, thunderstorm. My grip on the serving spoon tightened. Thunderstorm. Sneaking out to sleep with Julia while I snored. Funny. That's not entirely true, I said, forcing a chuckle. Some things still wake me up. He glanced at me, just for a second. Our eyes met, and I watched a faint shadow of unease flicker across his face. Good. Robert launched into a story about an issue at the base, something about security protocols. He used words like integrity and honor and accountability, each one landing like a hammer blow in my ears. I waited until everyone was eating, plates full, conversation flowing easily again. The room buzzed with warmth. This was the moment. I picked up my bag from the floor and set it on my lap, sliding my phone out under the table. I tapped the email icon. The subject line stared up at me. Screenshots. You need to see this. My thumb lingered over it. Once you do this, I thought, there's no going back. Then I pictured the list again. Body count. Last 2 years. My name at 22. ATM bell. Until I get bored. A girl named Julia being upgraded to 23 while I slept in my own bed. I tapped. The email opened, the familiar collage of screenshots filling the screen. I scrolled once, just enough for the first image, the list with body count last 2 years, to be clearly visible. Time to drop the match. Huh, I said, frowning at my phone like I'd just noticed something odd. I didn't raise my voice much. I didn't have to. In a quiet moment, every word carries. Gabe glanced over. What's up? Just got a weird email, I said, tilting my head. Someone sent me screenshots? Janet looked up from her plate. Screenshots of what? I blew out a breath through my nose as if I was trying to laugh it off. Honestly, I have no idea. Says it's about Gabe, though. Probably some stupid spam thing. The entire table turned toward me at once, like I'd pressed a hidden button. Robert's eyes sharpened. About Gabe how? I let my gaze flick to Gabe's. His face had gone a shade paler. I don't know, I said. It looks like a list. Maybe some kind of prank. It's probably nothing. Robert held out his hand. Let me see. Gabe shifted in his chair. Dad, it's probably just junk. Robert didn't even look at him. Phone, Annabelle? I swallowed, pasted on a hesitant expression. Are you sure? It might be uncomfortable. We're family, Janet said quickly, though her voice trembled a little. If someone's trying to cause trouble, we should know. I passed the phone down the table, the screen angled toward Robert. For a second, the glow lit his face from below, casting his features in sharp shadows. Silence fell like a curtain. I watched his eyes scan the screen. First confusion, then recognition. His pupils dilated. The vein in his temple started to show. He swiped up once, twice. His lips moved, reading to himself. Then, in a voice that was too quiet to be safe, he said, "What the hell is this?" The room went still. Forks hovered halfway to mouths. Emma froze, phone dangling in her hand. "Robert?" Janet asked, voice tight. "What's wrong?" Instead of answering, Robert stood up. His chair scraped loudly against the hardwood floor. He walked around the table, phone gripped so tightly his knuckles were white, and held it out so Janet could see. She took it, squinting. Her brows pinched together, then shot up. Her other hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered, then louder. "Oh my God." "Janet?" Grandma's voice trembled. "What is it?" Robert turned then, slowly, like he was on a swivel. His eyes landed on Gabe with a force that made me almost feel sorry for him. Almost. "Gabriel Thomas Thompson," he said, every word heavy. "Would you like to explain this body count list?" Color drained from Gabe's face. "What list?" he said, too fast. "This one." Robert slapped the phone down on the table in front of him. The screen showed the top of the note clearly. Body count, last 2 years. The numbered names beneath it seemed to glow. 22, Annabelle, 8 months ago, finally cuffed. You could have heard a pin drop. Somewhere in the living room, the clock ticked. Emma leaned forward. "What's a body count?" "Emma!" 3 adults hissed at once. Gabe let out a shaky laugh. "Dad, that's just guys messing around. It's a stupid joke. Mark and Jason, they..." Robert's hand slammed down on the table, making the silverware jump. "A joke?" He snatched the phone back, thumb scrolling again. His eyes darkened. "It says here," he read, voice flat, "just added lucky number 23 last night while my girlfriend slept. Julia from the gym finally came through. Took her long enough." The words hung in the air like smoke. Janet's gaze flew to me, then to Gabe. "Gabe?" "That's not," Gabe started, but Robert held up a hand. "There's more," he said. "While she was literally in the next room, she sleeps like the dead. Told her I had to use the bathroom. Quick trip to Julia's place, back in 45. Easiest win of the year." Grandma made a small, strangled sound and slumped back in her chair. Uncle Mike swore under his breath. Father Martinez cleared his throat, face drawn. "It's just talk," Gabe said weakly. "You know how guys are." Robert scrolled again. "Annabelle's too trusting. ATM Belle. Pays for Uber half the time. Splits rent when she stays at mine. Easy. How long you keeping her?" "Until I get bored, I guess. Her place is nice for sleepovers. Her family loves me. Her mom keeps hinting about grandkids." Janet's chair scraped back as she stood. Her eyes were wet, furious. "That's enough." Gabe looked at me then, finally, really looked. "Belle, you know I don't mean half the stuff I say to them. It's just banter." I met his eyes calmly, my pulse drumming in my ears, but my voice oddly steady. "Is Julia from the gym just banter too?" He froze. "Who's Julia?" Robert demanded. "No one," Gabe said quickly. "Just a girl from the gym who..." "Someone he's been seeing behind my back," I said, not raising my voice, just stating a fact. "He snuck out of my apartment last night while I was asleep to go to her place. That's what that message is about." "That's not what happened," Gabe snapped. "You're twisting." "Really?" I tilted my head, "because it lines up perfectly with the time you had an upset stomach and were gone for almost an hour." Emma's lower lip trembled. "Gabe, did you cheat on Annabelle?" "All of you quiet," Robert barked. He turned to me, softer. "Annabelle, when did you get this email?" "About 10 minutes ago," I said. "From some anonymous address. At first I thought it had to be fake, but, well..." I gestured helplessly toward the phone. "You're reading what I'm reading." Robert tapped the screen. "Metadata says these screenshots were taken 3 days ago," he said. "That tracks with last night, and the tone sounds exactly like the garbage your friends post online." "Someone could have edited," Gabe started. "Enough," Janet snapped. Her cheeks were flushed, tears standing in her eyes. "I did not raise a son who treats women like a scoreboard." "Mom, how many of those names are girls you were seeing while you were with Annabelle?" she demanded. Gabe's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. 23, Grandma whispered. 23. She pressed a hand to her chest like it hurt. From the end of the table, Emma's voice came out small and shaking. "Gabe, is it real? Did you really sleep with all those girls and brag about it?" He looked at her, and for a second his facade slipped. Guilt flashed across his face. He didn't have to answer. His silence did it for him. Janet covered her mouth and turned away. Robert's hands were trembling now, not from age, but rage. "You brought Annabelle into this house," he said slowly. "Sunday after Sunday, letting us believe you were building something real. You sat in church next to her, you held her hand, all while keeping what? A trophy list? It's not like that, Gabe said. Most of those were before her. It's not. How many while you were with her? Robert repeated. Gabe stared at the table. I don't know. Guess, I said quietly. His jaw clenched. 4 or 5, he muttered finally. I felt something inside me twist, then go very, very still. Not surprise, just confirmation. Janet sagged into her chair. 4 or 5, she echoed, as if the words physically hurt. You've been lying to her, to us, to Emma. Father Martinez cleared his throat gently. Perhaps this is a conversation better had. No, Robert cut in, eyes blazing. Annabelle deserves to hear every part of this. She's been sitting at this table, treated as one of us, while my son turned her into a punchline in a group chat. He turned to me then, and for a moment all the anger melted into something else. Regret, pity, shame. I am so deeply sorry, Annabelle, he said. We had no idea. If I'd known my son was capable of this. It's not your fault, I said. And unexpectedly, I meant it. You believed who he pretended to be. So did I. Janet wiped at her eyes. Grace before meals, she said bitterly. Family prayers. And meanwhile, my son is out there treating people like notches on a belt. Emma stood suddenly, eyes glossy. I can't be here, she said, voice breaking. She fled the room, her footsteps pounding up the stairs. Emma, Janet called, then slumped. Look what you've done. Gabe looked around the table wildly, searching for someone, anyone, to help him. No one met his eyes, not Grandma, not Uncle Mike, not even Father Martinez. The priest just folded his hands, lips pressed together tightly. Janet straightened, spine stiff. Go to your room, she said. Mom, I'm 26, he protested. You can't. Then act like it, she snapped. Go upstairs before your father says something he can't take back. For a second, I thought he'd argue. Then he caught the look on Robert's face and thought better of it. He pushed his chair back so hard it nearly tipped, then stormed out, footsteps heavy on the stairs. Silence settled over the table like dust after an explosion. No one moved. Finally, Robert let out a long, shuddering breath. Annabelle, he said, voice rough. You don't have to stay. I wouldn't blame you if you never wanted to see any of us again. I'm not angry at you, I said softly. Just disappointed. In him. In myself for not seeing it sooner. Janet dabbed at her eyes. We had no idea, she said again. We thought he was finally getting serious. You've been the best thing that ever happened to him. Funny how people keep saying that about someone who would happily trade you for a new number on a list. I should probably go, I said, pushing my chair back. My legs felt unsteady, but there was a strange lightness in my chest, too, like something heavy had finally snapped its chain. We'll walk you out, Robert said. As we stepped onto the porch, the air felt sharper, cooler. Somewhere down the street, a dog barked. A lawnmower hummed faintly. I don't know if this means anything coming from me, Robert said quietly, but you deserve better than what my son gave you. It means something, I said. Thank you. Are you going to be okay? Janet asked, wringing her hands. I will be, I said. And to my own surprise, I believed it. Honestly, I'm relieved I found out now and not later, when it would have been harder to untangle our lives. Robert nodded slowly. If you ever need a reference, a recommendation, anything, call me. I'll tell anyone who asks that you're the one who kept your promises. For a second, my throat tightened. I swallowed it down. Take care of Emma, I said. She still believes people can be better than this. Janet nodded, eyes shining. We'll do our best. I walked down the steps to my car, feeling their eyes on my back. At the driver's side door, I turned and looked up at the house one last time. Through the front window, I could see a sliver of the dining room table, plates half finished, chairs askew, the aftermath of a bomb no one saw coming. My phone buzzed in my bag. I didn't need to look at it to know who it was. I got in the car, started the engine, and pulled away from the curb. Behind me, the perfect Thompson house grew smaller in the rearview mirror, the flag still fluttering like nothing had happened. But something had. Gabe's double life had just been yanked into the sunlight, and I had no intention of stepping back into the shadows with him. It took exactly 3 minutes after I pulled out of the Thompson driveway for Gabe to start blowing up my phone. 3 missed calls in a row, then a flood of texts. Gabe, Belle, plus just talk to me. Gabe, it wasn't like that, Gabe. Can we meet? I can explain. Gabe, You made a huge mistake doing that in front of my family, Gabe. Answer your phone. I didn't open any of them. I didn't even swipe the notifications away. I just drove home with the windows cracked, letting the wind drown out the buzzing. By the time I parked in my building garage, he'd sent 14 texts and called 7 more times. The last message preview I saw before clicking my phone onto silent read, Gabe, babe, I swear they're making it sound worse than it is. Just talk to me. Worse than it is. 23 names, 5 while he was with me, sneaking out of my bed to sleep with someone else. And apparently the part he objected to was the tone. I showered. I changed into pajamas. I ate leftover Thai. My phone buzzed nonstop on the counter while I brushed my teeth. I let it. Then, around midnight, silence. A few seconds later, one new voicemail. I didn't listen to it. I slept better that night than I had in months. Monday morning, apology phase. I woke to 31 missed texts, 12 missed calls, 2 voicemails. The earliest. Gabe, please, Annabelle. I can fix this. Gabe, I never meant to hurt you. Gabe, my parents are losing it. You have to help me calm them down. I laughed out loud reading that one. Help him calm them down? I wasn't his PR manager. Then the tone shifted. Gabe, you should have talked to me privately. Gabe, what you did was cruel, Gabe. You blindsided me. I blindsided him. The mental gymnastics were Olympic level. 10 minutes later. Gabe, I'm sorry, babe. Gabe, I swear I'll delete all their numbers, Abe. I'll go no contact with Mark and Jason. Gabe, I'll change gyms. Gabe, I'll do whatever you want. It was wild watching him bargaining with himself in real time. I didn't respond. Monday afternoon, rage phase. Somewhere around lunchtime, the desperation cracked. Gabe, answer your phone. Gabe, this is insane, Gabe. You humiliated me in front of my entire family, Gabe. Over some stupid BS that wasn't even serious. Gabe, you're overreacting. Ah, yes, my overreaction to his 23-person cheat sheet. I muted notifications and went on with my day. Tuesday morning. The outside players join in. Around 10 a.m., my phone rang again, from an unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail until a thought hit me. One of the guys. Curiosity won. Hello? A hesitant male voice answered. Annabelle? Yes? This is Mark from the group chat. I blinked. Gabe's friend. Yeah. He cleared his throat. Look, he asked me to call. He's a mess. He says you've misunderstood the situation. I didn't even have the energy to laugh. Misunderstood the part where he proudly listed the women he slept with? To be fair, guys exaggerate. A lot. I'm sure the 23 thing isn't literal. I said nothing. And the stuff about you? Calling you ATM Belle? He hesitated. It was just us giving him crap. He doesn't mean that. Okay, let's cut to the truth, I said. How many of those girls did he sleep with while he was with me? A pause. A long one. Then, 4 or 5, maybe. Thanks, I said. That's all I needed. Annabelle. I hung up. Tuesday afternoon. The gym girl. 2 hours later, another unknown number. I answered again. Hi, is this Annabelle? The woman's voice sounded cautious, soft, nervous. Yes, who's calling? This is Julia, from the gym. Ah, number 23. I didn't know he had a serious girlfriend, she said immediately. He told me you two were casual, seeing other people. Of course he did. He also told his friends he snuck out of my bed to go sleep with you, I said flatly, while bragging that it was the easiest win of the year. Oh my God. She exhaled sharply. I'm so sorry. If I'd known... It's fine, I said. And surprisingly, I meant that too. You weren't the one lying to me. Julia hesitated. Is it true? The list? The 23? Yes. And he wrote that stuff about you paying for things? Yes. A silence stretched. He's disgusting, she whispered finally. I'm done. I'm blocking him right now. Good, I said. Take care of yourself. I hung up. 2 minutes later, Instagram buzzed. Julia posted a story, a screenshot of Gabe's blocked profile with the text. Lies catch up eventually. I didn't take delight in it. Not really, but I didn't feel bad either. Tuesday evening, the sister. That night I got a DM from someone new. Emma Thompson, Gabe's 16-year-old sister. Emma, hi Annabelle. Is it okay if I message you? Emma, I just wanted to say I'm really sorry about what my brother did. Emma, my parents are super upset. He hasn't come out of his room since Sunday. Emma, you didn't deserve any of it. Emma, I hope you find someone better. I stared at the message for a long time. Emma had always liked me, looked up to me, asked me for advice on clothes, school, boys she liked. I sent back, me, Thank you, Emma. Me. None of this is your fault. Me. Take care of yourself, okay? She sent a small pink heart emoji. Somehow, that made everything hurt just a little more. The rumors spread. By the end of 48 hours, I'd heard through mutual friends. Gabe tried to go to his gym Monday morning. He got side-eyed by half the trainers. Julia confronted him. He stormed out. Mark and Jason fought with him in their group chat. Screenshots leaked. Someone posted vague subtweets about dudes who treat women like stamps on a passport. It was spectacular in the way a building collapse is spectacular, horrifying, inevitable, impossible not to watch. Meanwhile, I went out to dinner with a coworker, laughed for the first time in days, slept without waking up to check if the person beside me was still there. It's amazing how light life feels when you're no longer carrying the weight of someone else's deceit. But the real fallout? That was coming later, and it was going to be so much worse. By the time a full week rolled around, it was no longer just drama. It was fallout. Real, tangible, life-upending consequences, the kind that don't disappear once the group chat stops buzzing. And Gabe, he was free-falling through every single one of them. Thursday night, the doorstep scene. It was just past 9 p.m. when someone started knocking on my apartment door. Not tapping, knocking, hard, repeated, urgent. I checked the peephole. Gabe. He looked wrecked, hair messy, dark circles under his eyes, shoulders slumped like someone had punched the confidence right out of him. He knocked again. Annabelle, please open the door. Mrs. Chen from across the hall cracked her door open, glaring. Either stop knocking or I call the building manager, she snapped at him. Gabe stepped back, startled. Sorry, I'm leaving. Then quieter to my door. Please. I didn't open it. He left after 2 more minutes, head hanging low as he trudged down the hallway. I watched from the peephole until he vanished, swallowed by the elevator. Then I locked the deadbolt. Friday, flower fail. Around noon the next day, someone dropped a vase of lilies on my office desk. The card read, Annabelle, please give me one chance to explain. Love, Gabe. My coworker Lucas whistled. Oof, someone's in the doghouse. They're going in the break room, I told him. I tossed the flowers in the trash. Not even dramatically, just practically. After I explained the situation to my team, the entire office roasted him for the rest of the lunch break. Honestly, it was therapeutic. Saturday morning, the parking lot ambush. I had just finished a workout and was heading to my car when someone stepped out from behind a sedan. Gabe. He looked worse than before, like he hadn't slept in days. Belle, wait, please, just hear me out. No, I said. You can't do this. You can't just ignore me forever. Watch me. I made mistakes, he said, hands out, palms up. But I can change. You made choices, I corrected, repeated ones. He flinched. I'll delete everyone. Every girl, every friend who encouraged me. I'll quit the gym. There's nothing you can do, I said. He took a step closer. But I love you. No, I said simply. You don't. He blinked. How can you say that? You love the convenience, the image, the stability. I was a home base you used between hookups. I held his gaze. That's not love. His face crumpled, actually crumpled. But I didn't soften. I walked around him, unlocked my car, and got in. When I glanced in the rearview mirror, he was still standing there like he didn't know where to go next. The workplace consequences. On Monday morning, I got a message from a mutual friend who worked near Gabe's office. Girl, you didn't hear this from me, but... It turns out his manager caught wind of the situation. Maybe through the Thompson family. Maybe through the social drama swirling around town. Maybe because Gabe had a meltdown in the break room on Friday. Whatever the reason, the end result was the same. Gabe was fired. Official reason? Character issues and liability concerns affecting client relationships. Translation. He embarrassed his family so publicly that it echoed into their professional network. I didn't celebrate, but I didn't feel sorry either. Actions have consequences. The gym consequences. Then came the gym. Julia wasn't the only woman Gabe had misled. Turns out he'd flirted with half the front desk staff, implied he was single to another trainer, and made several women uncomfortable with inappropriate comments. Add in the blow-up with Julia, and the fact that his body count list got whispered about in more locker rooms than I thought possible. On Tuesday afternoon, I heard from another mutual friend. He got his membership revoked LMAO. They told him he wasn't welcome after causing multiple scenes. Gabe's world, his job, his gym, his friend group, was shrinking by the hour. The family, nuclear fallout. Then, his parents. Emma posted a photo on her Instagram story from Grandma Thompson's birthday. Everyone was there. A full spread of food, balloons, cake. Everyone except Gabe. Emma didn't mention him. but the empty seat at the table said enough. Another story showed Janet taking down framed photos in their hallway. Photos of Gabe. Photos of me with Gabe. All of them gone. And then the kicker. A Facebook post from Janet Thompson, public, because Janet never understands her privacy settings. Children who lose their way forget that their actions affect more than just themselves. The comment section was a battlefield. Robert, he didn't post anything. He didn't have to. The priest. This part still makes me laugh. I was at the grocery store comparing 2 brands of pasta sauce when someone cleared their throat behind me. I turned. Father Martinez, wearing a blue polo and cargo shorts, holding a basket with bread and bottled water. "Annabelle," he said gently, "how are you holding up, my child?" I almost snorted pasta sauce out my nose. "I'm okay," I said. "I've been praying for you," he said. Such a painful revelation for everyone involved. "I appreciate that." He nodded slowly. "Robert told me you handled yourself with remarkable poise. Not many would have stayed so calm." "Getting angry wouldn't change anything," I said. "Better to accept the truth and move forward." "Very wise." He hesitated. "Gabe has not been to Mass since Sunday. His shame is heavy." "Good," I said before I could stop myself. "I hope he learns," the priest murmured. "So do I said, "for Emma's sake." Father Martinez sighed. "His parents are discussing asking him to move out. They're worried about his influence on her." I raised an eyebrow. "They should be." He nodded soberly. My life suddenly lighter. I went to work. I went to dinner with friends. I slept through the night without wondering who was texting my boyfriend at 2 a.m. My life became simple again. Calm. Quiet. And in the quiet, something strange happened. I started to feel free. The burden of a relationship built on lies had finally fallen away. But as wild as the last week had been, the real ending? That was still coming. And when it hit, it would be the final blow Gabe never saw coming. It's been 6 weeks since I found the list. 6 weeks since I walked out of the Thompson house and left Gabe to deal with the wreckage he created. 6 weeks of updates trickling in. Some from mutual friends, some from Emma's Instagram stories, some from people who just love reporting community drama like it's their civic duty. And now? Now it's time to wrap this up. Because the final stage, the collapse Gabe didn't think was possible, has already happened. And it was almost poetic. 1. The final family explosion. According to Emma, who continues to be the most emotionally intelligent person in that house, things went downhill at home fast. For the first 2 weeks after the Sunday lunch disaster, Gabe barely left his room except to argue, cry, or yell. Janet and Robert tried everything. Grounding him, lecturing him, praying over him. Classic Thompson parenting strategies. Nothing worked. Then came the night that broke the last sliver of their patience. 2 a.m., a random girl, sneaking into the house while everyone was asleep. Emma posted a blurry Instagram story from her bedroom window. "My brother is so dumb. Dad's gonna explode." The next day, a mutual friend told me the full story. Gabe had invited some girl he met online, someone he barely knew, over at 2 a.m. She giggled so loud in the hallway that Emma woke up. Emma texted Janet, who woke Robert, and you can imagine the rest. Robert apparently came down the stairs like a biblical plague. Voices carried through the neighborhood. Doors slammed. The girl left crying. And Robert said 7 words that changed everything. "Pack your things. You're done here." By sunrise, Gabe was dragging duffel bags to his car. Emma recorded a 3-second clip of him leaving. Gabe walking to his car, hoodie up. The caption, "Finally." Savage. Correct. Necessary. 2. Moving in with the wrong friend. Gabe didn't have many options left, so he moved in with Jason. Yes, that Jason, the guy from the group chat who used a fire emoji next to his name. It lasted 10 days. 10 days. Apparently, Jason thought he was getting a roommate who would split groceries and bills. Instead, he got a moody man-child who slept until 2 p.m., used Jason's protein powder without asking, borrowed his car once, brought over girls at weird hours, cried loudly in the shower at least twice. Jason kicked him out after Gabe ate an entire prepped meal plan for the week. The group chat imploded, and so did their friendship. 3. The job search. Nightmare. Remember how Gabe got fired for being a liability? Turns out news travels fast, especially when your ex-best friends leak your body count list into their own friend circles as a cautionary tale. He applied to at least a dozen marketing or sales positions. Half didn't call back. The other half called his old boss for a reference. His old boss apparently didn't hold back. Gabe ended up taking a part-time job at a coffee shop 40 minutes away where no one knew him. From what I heard, he hates it. He complains constantly. He says customers don't respect him. He says the manager treats him like he's 20. He is 26. He also cheated on his girlfriend in a 45-minute window. So yes, maybe a little humility wouldn't hurt. 4. The social exile. If you've ever seen a social circle collectively drop someone like a contaminated fruit, that's what happened. Mutual friends stopped inviting him out. Guys who used to hype him up suddenly acted like they'd never met him. Even Mark, his ride-or-die wingman, backed away. And this one shocked me most. Jason blocked him. The man who once encouraged his behavior now wanted nothing to do with the consequences of it. One mutual friend summed it up perfectly. He's radioactive. No one wants to get dragged down with him. Even the gym community blacklisted him. Trainers whispered. Front desk girls avoided him. The manager told him to stop showing up. 5. The last attempt at closure. Around week 5, Gabe made one final desperate move. I was leaving my office at 5 p.m., balancing a tote bag and iced coffee, when someone stepped into my path. It was him. His hair was longer and unwashed. He'd lost weight. His hoodie looked slept in. And for the first time in the 8 months I'd known him, he didn't look cocky. He looked small. "Annabelle," he said quietly, "please, I've been thinking about everything." I said nothing. "I know I screwed up," he went on. "I've been going to therapy. I'm trying to understand why I did those things." "That's good," I said. "For you." He swallowed. "Can we maybe get coffee so I can give you closure?" "No," I said. He blinked. "I'm not asking to get back together, just to talk." "You don't need closure," I said. "You need consequences." His face crumpled. "You're really not going to give me a chance to fix this?" "You didn't break something between us, Gabe," I said. "You broke you. And that's not my responsibility to repair." He looked down. "You want some advice?" I said. He nodded. I stepped closer, not kindly, but clearly. "What you did wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern, a lifestyle, a deliberate system in which lying and humiliating women made you feel powerful." He flinched. "You don't change because you got caught," I said softly. "You change because you finally hate the version of yourself you created." He opened his mouth, closed it again. "That's all I have to say," I said. "Goodbye, Gabe." I walked past him without looking back. 6 and me? I didn't jump into a rebound. I didn't swear off dating. I didn't give myself a dramatic makeover or move cities. I just lived. I slept in, went out with friends, rediscovered hobbies, stopped feeling anxious every time a man's phone lit up in my presence. And then 3 weeks ago, I met someone. His name is Sam. He's a nurse with an apartment full of plants and a laugh that sounds like relief. He doesn't play games. He doesn't need constant attention. He texts when he says he will. He asks questions and listens. We're taking it slow. We communicate clearly. He has never once made me feel like I'm competing with a list. It's revolutionary. 7. The best revenge. People ask me if public humiliation was worth it, if the fallout was satisfying, if watching Gabe's life unravel gave me closure. Here's the truth. The humiliation wasn't the revenge. The job loss wasn't the revenge. The social exile wasn't the revenge. The revenge was simple, letting him be seen for exactly who he is. He wanted to play games. He wanted to keep score. He wanted to turn his conquests into numbers. Now everyone is keeping score of him, and he's losing, because the truth always wins in the end. The game is over.